Okay, so let's get to another shir here on the subject of the eating and drinking ruchni of the day of Yom Kippur. We're reading across the bottom, and it says like this: "V'chashtia b'rishonim ki l'tzorich shlosh rishonos ezer anpin v'nukva." As we have said, that shtia refers to Abba Zohar v'nuk, and Achila refers to Abba v'Ima. V'hi min ha'akila ha'sheni is the Ima. This is for the second Akila of Ima. From coming through, that is the sustenance that she gets from up above. Min Erik Anpin Derek Mochim Shalah, through her Mochim, the Pashalah, until it reaches into her mouth. The Derek Agoran Shalah Bifnim, it has come down through her throat, from inside. Nizonim Shlosh Rishonos Zer Anpin V'Nukva, and from there it feeds the gar of Zachar V'Nuk. V'anta Mevor V'Yoser Inyan Ashtia Rishona Shehi L'Tzorach HaShlosh Spheres Rishonos Shehem Kaser Chach Babina D'Zer Anpin V'Nukva. Now we're talking about Zun, and here we're talking about drinking. The Mshachas Min Arachida Hashenis the Ima, so it extends out for the second eating of Ima, Shegabela B'Parts of the Rich, which she receives from the parts of her Rich. The Nimshach L'Socha Mochim Shalah, so it goes down into the Mochim of Ima. When Masham is Pashat the Pashalah, and from there it spreads down into her mouth, and Mamshach the Redis, and it keeps going out of the mouth, Min Pashalah, Derek Agaron, didn't go out, it goes down through the throat. Derek Agon Pebinimiusa, the Socha Shesh Kitzvos, the Tachtona Shalom, until it reaches her her vok, down below. And Masham Nimshach V'Nis Pashas Shlosh Spheres Rishonos, and from there it spreads in the first three spheros of Zer Anpin, V'Nukva, V'Nizonim, V'Menu, and they get shefa from that. So that's the first shefa that goes into he says, the Shlosh Rishonos of Abba V'Ima, which sounds like Chagat, but I'm not sure. V'Hashti Hasheni is Nimshachas Mamoch, so the second drinking is going to be extended to them. He says, Memochin Nimshach Memochin De'ima Atzma. The Redis ad Pashalon, it goes down to her mouth, Atzma. Baz Yotze B'Pihud, it goes out of her mouth. B'chutz V'Yared ad Sheish Kitzvos the Zer Anpin V'Nukva V'Dizonis B'Benu, and it goes all the way down to the vok of the Zachar V'Nuk, and it brings shefa there. Now, here he's talking, what's confusing me is he's talking about Zachar V'Nuk as 10 parts. So, therefore, V'Ula Ma'ashtiach HaSheni Shebebena Nizonis HaSheish Kitzvos HaTachtonis D'Zer Anpin V'Nukva. So now he's saying that they have 10 spheros here, and that the 6 spheros down below, the Meshech is Memochin De'ima Atzma, comes from the Mochin of Ima herself, Asher Yored HaShevach HaZechah the Pashalah, that goes into the mouth of Ima, so to speak, which I guess would be, I'm not sure. Let's go on. Misham Yotze B'Pichul L'Chutz V'Yored is Pashat of the Sheish Kitzvos HaTachtonis Shehem Chesed Gevor Teferes. Let me read this again. Asher B'Yored the Shevach HaZechah the Shalah goes into her mouth. From then it comes out of her mouth. L'Chutz V'Yored is Pashat of the Sheish Kitzvos HaTachtonos, till it comes down to the lower 6 kitzvos. Shehem Chesed Kavur Teferes Netzachot Yisod Zer Anpin V'Nukva Nizonis B'Menu, and the Nukva gets her shefa from this. So there's a difference There's a differences between the eatings, the two eatings that take place, really referring to the Gimel Rishonos, the gar of Abba V'Ima, and then the vok and the zat, the Zayin Tachtonis of Abba V'Ima. He says there's a difference between that feeding that goes with Abba V'Ima and Zun. Ki shama achida b'rishon echad yoinda yotzasach b'chutz the pad the Erik Anpin, for there it comes out of the mouth of Erik Anpin, v'hashen is neknetzes Derek P'nimiuso, and the second feeding goes through his inside. V'la'ashtiach b'rishon neknetzes Derek P'nimius ima, but the shtiach b'rishon, the first shtiach, if it's going to happen for Zun, Derek P'nimius ima toch into her throat. V'lo yotze chutz the piho, it never comes out of her mouth. V'chashtiach habeis yotze tzederek piv v'chutz. The second drinking is going to go through from out of her mouth. Now, let's explain this a little bit more. He says, Ata ba levoyer, now it's coming to explain. Ha'achila sheyesh bein shtei ha'achilas the bein shtei ha'shtiyos. U'ma'aducha b'le'inyan ha'achila nisbarish ha'achila ha'b'rishayla yotzetzuch mechutz the pad the Erik Anpin. It has to go out of the mouth of Erik Anpin. And b'sham nimshach ha'shefa, and from there the shefa extends. Shalah. The shlosh spheres rishonas the Abba ve'ima, then gets to the gar of Abba ve'ima. V'achila ha'b'shenis ha'shniya nimshach ha'shefa derek pnimius to Erik Anpin. That one is going to go through the inside of Erik Anpin. L'misham yored the shefa shadachal the shesh kitzvahs the tachtonis the Abba ve'ima. Ve'ela be'inyan ha'shtiyach ha'naasach ha'davar lehefach. But when it comes to drinking, which refers to zun, then it's going to be the opposite. The first drinking is going to go through the inside. Sheyora the Silcha Gorin goes into the throat. And B'sham Nimshach the Shlosh Spheres Rishonas the Zer Anpin V'nuk, because there you're going to find the top, the gar, the head of Zer Anpin and the Nuk. The second way is going to come out of the mouth, the evil of the chutz, but it's going to be on the outside. That's the second drinking. So what's the reason for the reversal of the way that the life flows? The Zer Anpin is completely and totally rachmem v'tam achidach b'hu. Ki afal pisha shtei achidos and nimshachem bepartzi atek v'arich shesham kol rachmim, because in those two places everything is mercy. Kamosha kasa ve'idra rabba, as the Idra Rabba explains. Lis smola chobachai itika stimo akula yumina. So this Erik Anpin refers to Erik Anpin is all right-sided. When we talk about atek, which is really panimi, shu kolu partsufi atek v'arich, which has two partsufim in it, small, there is no aspect of left side, which is the side of din. Shu romas the gavuras v'dinim. Elasham makol v'chidas yamin v'rachamim pshutim. So there we're talking 100% about rachamim pshutim. Masha Kasav Rav Zal, so what the Rav writes here, She'erik Anpin Hu HaKol Rachamim, HaGavona V'Kol Shechem Al Atek, and certainly Atek, which is Panimi to Erik Anpin, Shehu B'parts of Yosef Gavoa V'Elyon Ma'erik Ma'erich, V'Achida Rabishona Yotzach B'Derek Piv D'Erik Anpin, L'fi Shehu Ha'ara G'doida V'Ein the Socho, it can't remain inside because the light is too powerful. But the chutz the piv, so therefore it goes out of the mouth. But in any case, there's a tremendous difference between these two eatings. Since the original eating, comes from the atek yamim, the mochin, the Erik Anpin, and it comes into the mochin, the skull of Erik Anpin, so to speak, and Vishan the Pashalo. Zai Mekaiber Bekavin Shehi Ha'ara Gedoda Ma'od Ein Hashefa Chazecha Beyochel Hitstam Sem Yosef the Hamshik Leire Der Piminiuso. It just cannot be confined enough to be able to go into the inside of Erik Anpin. So the Alkain Kishim Begil the pair the Erik Anpin. So when it reaches the mouth of Erik Anpin, Yotzach Hashefa Chazecha Mechutz, the Pashalo goes out from his mouth. And Mishami Yored and Mispasha the Mata the Tzorch Shlosh Spheres Rishon Shal Abba Ve'ima, and there it's able to reach the gar of Abba Ve'ima. Whoa, let's see what happened there. So he said, which was that concept. So it has the ability to be able to go inside. It's not coming from atik. It's not coming from such a pneumistic, pure rachmanis. Nimshach ma'atik elemin amochi departs of arich, but it comes from the chabad of arich anpin the vad, which is inside of his skull, being generated there. It's not such a powerful. This pashik derek pnim goes the Eric Anpin, so now it can go through the middle, the inside of Eric Anpin. And Misham Mam Shechel the red is derek pnimius the Abba, so now it comes out through the path of the pnimius of Abba Ve'ima the Tzorach Shesh Kitzvah Shalachem for the purpose of their God, their Vok. But when we talk about drinking here, and we're talking about the fact that the dinim really evolve out of ima. From her is where the arousal of dinim come from. Because that's the root of where the gevuros, which the contractions and are manifest as punishments, come from. So therefore the second part, which is coming from the chabad of Eric Anpen, the Sorach which is going to be for the second eating of the lower part of Ava Ve'ima, Heim rachmim v'heim mayim metukim. They're rachamim. They're sweetened waters. Or sweet water. V'av im yikansach b'derek agrona. So even if they enter in through the throat, v'yis arvach b'gufa, and then from the throat they mix into the body. Im na'as mayim alocha. But even so that they go down into a lower place, they don't become bitter water or salt water. ולכך השתייה הראשונה שהיא נמשכת מהמוחין דאריק אנפין, שהוא כולו רחמים. גם השפך הנמשך הוא רחמים והוא בבחינת במים מתוקים. Okay, so therefore, Yachal lehikonus derek agaron, it could go into the throat of the ima, but his pasha begufa, and it could spread into her body because, as he said, it's all rachamim. But the tzorach hashesh kitzvah shalom, and it's for the purpose of feeding her vok. So even though that this came into her inside, he's ordered as a dinim, because inside of the zat, he wants to say, of ima, there is an arousal of dinim there. It's not going to turn around and become bitter water, even so, because its origin is sweet. That's the first one. The first drink. The second drink, though, which come from the Mulchan of Ima herself, that there you see that the dinim are aroused. He says, since they're coming from her, they are salted waters, kitzatz, a little bit of salt in it, so the dinim, which has the secret of dinim in it. So if they come in through the panemius of the throat, shalom, and they actually are mixing into the entire body, as that mixture is going on, and they're going to wind up being bitter, salted water. And which coming from the chabad of ima, because it's not coming from arich, it's coming from ima now. The tzorach hechesed gevur teferes netzachod yisod zer anpid v'nuk. For this is the second drinking that's going to go down to the vok or the zat of zer anpid and nuk. He's ordered the dinim, because we see from here you have an arousal of dinim is coming. So therefore the sheva that's coming out of this, that's a little bit of salted waters. There's some dinim that are going to get mixed in. V'im yardach of the toch b'nimiyusa, and it goes into the inside, the hispasha b'shesh kitzvas atachtonis the ima, to bispasha into that part which is in the vok of ima. Azay yizach zechu b'chem hadinim ma'od, you're going to start seeing heavy dinim. Because once it comes out of the inside, and it's going to start drawing from this or sucking out of this, it's going to become two different things: salted water, and also bitter water. So therefore they come out. So therefore, before they reach that stage where they're going to go down to the dezat and really get schmutzed up. So therefore it goes out through the mouth outside. So therefore it keeps going on for the purpose of her chagat naid is her an ben benokva. Which is the vok. So this interesting idea, he says this is the secret of the water that's contained in spittle. Shehi mayim hayotzech b'chutz l'peh shel ha'adam, which is water that came out of the mouth of a man. B'chin ha'shtir ha'shenis ha'shnir ha'zos, so that the second drinking that we're talking about, yotzech ha'rozech b'chutz l'peh, that the light now going to go out of the mouth. B'sham Yered is the sheish kitzvah, is the zun, and there it goes down to the vok of zun. Now, interesting, this is like the Rishash, where you're talking about that zun has 10 spheros in it. So we're going on. So this is interesting. He says, how do they go together? He says, show is the gematria 306. He says, but don't look at it that way, or unless he's not looking at that way here. He says the osius shu come from the word shofar. The roka zecha benizgar, who meroma b'shnei osis shin and vav from the word shofar shehi b'gematria rok, which comes out to the same gematria, which is 306. Ukamoshe ve'inyan show that far of the shofar. Mavur b'drashi rosh hashanah shetzarach hayud daled prakim sheyesh b'kaf hayad oilo shach. So he says that there's a word over there, that the 14 different joints that you find in the hand, Ola Chashach, comes the gematria of 320. Now, I'm not sure how that works. Don't see if you're going to say it. Let's see. The Moshe al Yedecha B'Yad HaTokeya Nimtakim Kitzas, that he says that through the hand, which is the number 14 of the blower, them talking kisas, that the dinim that are coming out of the shofar are going to be sweetened some. That this spittle that we're talking about, which is the gematria 306, which is the same as the first two letters of the word shofar, shuhu b'gematria shu, like shofar, shemitzarfim love the yud dalet yudin sheyesh b'zayin shemos asmab. So there are 14 letters in the name Asmab, and including the three, the Kasa, Kama, and Kana. Let me try, but let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I don't think that doesn't come out right. He says, if you add on all of this together, it comes to the gematria of 320. Because inside of this, he says that the hand has within it the yud dal yudin, which also is a reference to the hand which is holding the shofar, is also a reference to these 14 letters which contained in Asmab. Kasa, Kam, and Kaga. Let me try it together. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and there's 3 more. So it's not going to be counted up that way. So let's go. Let's go on. So a little bit, but he wants to say you take the 14 from the 3 the 306 that you have from the first two letters of shofar, which is the word rok, also the word for spit, and you have the concept here of that 306 being matched with the 14 joints of the hand. You're going to wind up with the number 320. So he says, I think we'll stop right here. So that's the end of that shir right there. And I'll try to figure out where that 14 comes from, how that works with those letters.